Hey, so here I am in Mountain Grove, stopped at the first stop last night, ready to start day 2. We have about 518 miles, I think it said, to, I don't know, somewhere in Alabama.
So we're heading out of Mountain Grove directly into the sun, down Highway 60, then into 63, on a nice little easy flowing, slightly curved road. So we'll bring you along for the ride. Enjoy.
I've got a ton of gravel in my shoes, world on my shoulders, a heart full of blues out in the dirt, down in the dirt. I've been a real bad boy on the town all night, starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in the dirt, down in the dirt. Been a real bad.
Okay, so finished leg 1 through kind of the area, the northern curvy area of southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas. Now I'm in Arkansas and Walnut Ridge, and we'll continue on to Memphis. Did about 131 miles, still have about a little over 400 to go.
So then we headed off, but before that I took a little time to warm up with some extra coffee because I got pretty cold the last probably half hour of this first leg, and my teeth were chattering by the time I stopped there. So then we were back on the road and we were going into this area here, which is kind of called the Arkansas Delta area, moving into the Delta, and I was really surprised with farmland in this area. If you see over there, there was quite a bit of open farmland and it was flooded out, even though it didn't look like they had gotten much rain. I'll show you up here a little closer. As you can see, I had never seen fields that flooded out when it looked that dry kind of everywhere else, but that's the Delta for you. So we continued on, and then eventually we hit the old big interstate as we headed towards Memphis. The closer we got to Memphis, more people there were, so we just put the throttle to the metal to the throttle, whatever you call it. We were boogieing. And then eventually we came into Interstate 55, and that, if you know, brings you across the Mississippi. And I didn't get my 360 camera started. I wanted to have it started when I went across the bridge here, but didn't get her started, so we just continued to concentrate on riding the bike. Go across bridges, they kind of do that little humpty thing. Went across the old Mississippi into Memphis. Used to be a stomping grounds. I went to NAS Millington for my avionics course many years ago, back in 1990. Then we went into Memphis, around the south side of Memphis on 240. And I thought for a Sunday afternoon, it was pretty busy. Then broke off onto 385 into Mississippi. Okay, made another stop, made it to Mississippi. As you can see somewhere in the background there, they're selling crawdaddies. Didn't have that though. But heading off again. Okay, so we are using the Harley Davidson app for the second day of our trip. And there I saw how we go into it, click on our little helmet down here, and we can go to the routes that we have. I can just click on Ride It to go, but I'm going to show you a little bit about this app. So the Harley Davidson app, one thing that I really like about this app is, as you notice here, it shows me along my route. I can just drag this as I go along my route. Tells me how many miles each area is, and also as I go along that, you can see here it gives me along the different areas on here, it tells me what my weather is. So I can actually tap on that. I can go into this at those points and it will tell me what my wind is supposed to be like, what my temps are supposed to be like at certain times in the day, that's a kind of a really nice thing considering you're on a motorcycle or you're out in the weather. The other thing it does here is it tells me as I go through my waypoint stops, it tells me how many miles it is to each of those. That's another thing that I really like. So we can choose that and say Ride It. Finds our route, tells us how long our total distance is. And then when we hit start, gives us our little warnings, and we start on that route, which since I'm not there, it tells me where I need to go to get to that first point. And then it continues on that way. Now the one thing that I really liked about this app is it kind of gives us our direction of where we're going. Let me bring it back in close here. Shows me where my route would be. Gives me my total distance left on my trip, what are my arrival, and what my miles are to go. The one thing I didn't like is it didn't give me my distance to my next point. Both of those are kind of necessary. So, back to the trip. Okay, before we go back to the trip, I want to show you, this app doesn't automatically record. You have to force it to record. It doesn't just automatically record your route. So I want to show you the mapping app here. This is another trip that I took, but if you see here above, it shows you where your next turn is going to be. So that's probably the best that shows on any app. And then down below here, it shows you your route, how much you got left. So then we finished on the remainder of our trip through Mississippi into Alabama. Here we left out and went on 72. And then I'll show you the rest of the routes. Let you ride along on the rest of the route. We did about 270 miles with one stop in Tuscumbia, Alabama. So, enjoy the ride.
Hey, so we have completed day 2 of the trip. I am here in Anniston. Originally I was saying Altoona, Alabama. I'm in Anniston, Alabama. We have about 488 miles to go tomorrow, and we will make it to where we're staying, south of St. Augustine. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, so here we are, day 2, end of day 2, and my lessons for today are interstates suck. I had to ride interstate some today, and dealing with semi-trucks on the interstate, getting behind them, and all the traffic, it just sucks. I had to go through Memphis area. It was pretty busy. I don't remember what time of the day it was, but you'll get to see some of that footage. But that is the big thing from today. Again, I was chilled after, so I've determined that 2 things. Hands and chest, for me, have to remain warm. If they get chilled, the rest of me gets chilled, and I just can't get warm. I did get warm today after the first one. After 2 hours of riding over 2 hours, then I get chilled and I have a hard time getting warm. It took me a while of drinking coffee and staying inside where it was warm before I warmed up to continue on today. Those are my 2 things from today. We'll continue on tomorrow on the last leg. Today I used the Harley Davidson app. Yesterday I used the Calimoto app. Tomorrow I'm using regular Google Maps. And then on my trips back I'm going to use Google My Maps. And I'm not sure what else. I think I may try also doing Google from a Google Docs. And we'll go from there. So, thanks for joining me.
Okay, here we are beginning day 3 in Oxford and Anniston, Alabama, and we'll see ya.
So we made it to the Florida state line. It's been quite a long time since I've ridden in Florida. Well, other than renting the bike, it's a long time since I've ridden my own bike in Florida.